Yo, money makes the world go round, right? Cool, then why's my landlord still calling me? I swear I'm diversified though. Like I got pizza in the freezer, Chinese in the fridge. That counts.
Yeah, woke up like 2 in the afternoon. Broker left 6, text said call me soon. I'm like, nah, that sounds like stress, and stress don't vibe with cartoons. I got ramen on the stove, crypto on the floor, stock market bleeding, yeah, but have you seen my decor? Beanbag chair, 70-inch screen, pour 40 down bad, but my Netflix clean. Everybody trading options, they a wolf on Wall Street. I'm a raccoon in the alley eating pizza cross street. I don't check my balance, I just check my mood. If I feel rich, then bro, I'm rich, that's the truth.
That's the truth. That's the truth. What?
Yeah. Portfolio who? I don't know that dude. I just chill, eat snacks, keep ducking the news. Money going up, money going down. Don't matter when the couch got the comfiest sound. Yeah. Don't matter when the couch got the comfiest sound. Yeah. Look, passive income, bro, I'm passive as hell. Only thing I actively do is ignore my mail. Health insurance, now I'm insured by vibes. Doc said stretch, I said doc, I got fries. Everybody stressed, reading Bluebird graps. I'm stressed choosing Uber Eats or Postmates apps. Boss say grind harder, I say man why? They got a Benz, I got okay debt, but I'm fly. Markets in a panic, they yelling on the floor. Meanwhile I'm panicking cause I spill sauce on my shorts. Bro, I'm lazy but I make it look slick. If money talks, mine just said nah, I quit. Nah, I quit. Yeah. Portfolio who? I don't know that dude. I just vibe, eat wings, sip Mountain Dew. Money going up, money going down. Still broke, but I'm broke with a confident sound. Yeah. Still broke, but I'm broke with a confident sound. Yeah. They like, yo, diversify. Yeah, I got beers, IPAs, lagers, super safe portfolio, my guy. Doctor keeps calling straight to voicemail. Broker keeps calling straight to voicemail. Mom keeps calling straight to voicemail. God calls. Hey, I'll text him back. Yeah, rent overdue, bills piled high, but I'm chilling in pajamas like a finance guy. Who's in crisis? Yeah, but not in my bed, cause I ain't leaving this spot till I'm legally dead. NATO gets billions, I get overdraft fees, but I just copped Hulu, HBO and Disney. People say money can't buy you peace, but it bought me snacks and that's close at least. So don't ask me about inflation or rates. Ask me why I just spent 50 bucks shakes. I'm a genius investor, trust my gut. If you're broke as a vibe, well I'm rich as fuck. Yeah, I'm rich as fuck. Yeah. Portfolio who, man, don't bring him here. That dude's a stranger, I got snacks and beer. Money going up, money going down. Don't matter when you're vibing to the funky sound. Yeah. Don't matter when you're vibing to the funky sound. Yeah. Portfolio who, I don't know that name. I just laugh through life like it's all a game. World going broke, empire falling down. Cool, pass me the remote, it's my turn now. Yeah, cool, pass me the remote, it's my turn now.
Alright, hello and welcome to the Camel Finance live stream. Let's get rid of this. I first of all want to turn on this chat. No matter how many times I go live, I still never really get any better. My skills as a live streamer don't really seem to be improving or developing. There's the chat though, and now we've got the chat open. I also want to shout out Gizmo for just continuously making more and more of these AI theme tunes for the Camel Crew. So go to the link in the chat and show him some love. Thank you all for showing up. I've had a bit of a weird morning. My routine got kind of messed up. Ended up doing a spontaneous haircut. And now we're here. So I kind of don't want to talk about too much today. I'm actually going to take the day off and go into the pub with the wife and dog. But I didn't want to do you guys out of a video, so I'm going to point at a couple of things. We're mostly going to discuss this whole idea of the 4-year cycle being dead and whether or not we can just go up only for Bitcoin from here. So I definitely want to spend some time on this and show you, well, show the world really why I don't think this is very likely. And we may or may not get a bit triggered by this whole digital ID thing going on in the UK. I'm not sure how far down the rabbit hole I feel like going. Right now, I don't have the energy. But you guys are exceptionally good at rage baiting me into going on rants on this kind of thing. So if anyone can succeed in doing that, I will I will gladly oblige. Okay, but for now, I'm feeling pretty relaxed. So we'll put this on the back burner. I did first of all want to point at this whole money market fund hitting record highs because people keep tagging me in this, understandably so. And there's kind of this idea that the record amount of funds here in the money market funds is like a tsunami of capital just waiting to pour into markets and drive assets higher. But I actually don't think this is correct. And for a simple reason that we can just point at the actual total funds and money market funds, right? this chart just essentially perpetually goes up. Okay, now you'll notice that once we have actual recessions, okay, then all of a sudden we start to kind of buy the dip, essentially, right? That money leaves money market funds, probably because the interest rates get slashed during recessions and after recessions, and then it goes chasing yield after stocks have crashed, right? But typically speaking, this overall trend is up and to the right. And so I don't really think it's fair to say this 7 trillion is about to, show up in the S&P 500. I also don't think it's fair to say this 7 trillion is about to make its way into Bitcoin and altcoins. I actually think this 7 trillion is going to become 8 trillion and then 9 trillion and then 10 trillion. And that's kind of my thought on that. So anyway, of course, as always, you're free to disagree with me. Let me just check for my own sanity that someone has said you can hear me. Sounds all good. Thank you, Gio. Appreciate it. Thank you for everyone for showing up as well. I've got some money or donations. Let's have a quick look at this. I'm pretty bad. Welcome to the Camel Crew, Pistol, and hello to Nagy. Thank you for being a member for 4 months. Okay, so what's next? I suppose actually before we get into this, we should have a quick recap of the charts, just so there's some continuity with the channel. So if you give me one moment to pull up some cycles, we'll take a look, right? S&P 500, roughly following the yellow squiggle. That's close enough for me. Happy days. Looking for a sustainable and tradable bottom to be formed early October. And the same is true of the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones, of course. Gold, still roughly speaking following this yellow fractal breakout, isn't it? Okay, so fine. Long and strong, continue to push for now at least. We'll see what happens going forward. Silver, 45 handle now. Okay, happy days there as well. And Bitcoin looks to me like it's thinking about doing Bob's count, right? It looks to me like it's thinking about sweeping this low, slight lower low into October, alongside the stock market, tuck the weekly cycle behind us, and then, as I've been doing over and over again, we might be able to grab this yellow squiggle, if my mouse will work, and kind of do it from here, right? And then look for this. So I don't think there's any changes. And of course, this count is, whilst it looks likely at the moment, to me at least, we can't actually say it's the correct count until this low is violated. Otherwise, this is just a half cycle low backtest that may or may not break out. Okay, so until such time as this low is violated and we sweep it, then this count is actually correct. The moment this low is taken at about 107k, then Bob's count is on the table. And frankly, as I've been saying over and over again, that's good. We want to get the weekly cycle tucked behind us, so we've got a good 2 to 3 months of left translated blow off top ahead of us, and the stock market would be in sync with Bitcoin, right? Which would kind of speak to a big risk on moment into the end of the year. So that's all the charts. What else? So the next thing I wanted to discuss is this right here, which is the whole 4-year cycle is dead idea. And I can see that Jordan is making a compelling case, okay? And this is the Amazon fractal for anyone that doesn't know. And it kind of went through this initial phase, right? And then it got to where we are now for Bitcoin, where it just kind of ground up only, right? And again, a lot of people are like, oh, what do you think, Camel? No more 4-year cycles, blah, blah, blah. But there's a few issues with this that I think we're not considering when it comes to Bitcoin, okay? So I'm trying to collate my thoughts here. First of all, okay, this is the Amazon chart, as you can see. Okay, so we got the high and the low, which correspond, if I go over here, to the high and the low, okay? And then we kind of do this whole Bitcoin shape-ish, right? Which, again, is this whole Bitcoin shape-ish. And then we just go up only forever, okay? But along the way, there are still, first of all, reasonably big corrections. They don't look like much, but they are 30% corrections along the way, okay? So even though they don't look like a lot, 25, 30%, I don't know what this one was, approximately 25%. When we get to here, even though it doesn't look like anything at all, it is still 25%-ish. And then up here, most recently, right, for the 22 bear market, it dropped 55%. And during the tariff tantrum, we also dropped, on a closing basis, another 22%, okay? So it's not like corrections don't occur, but I think Jordan's argument is that we're not going to get any kind of significant 80% bear market declines, right? And that may or may not be true, but here's where I think I can start to pick this idea apart a little bit, okay? If we say that this right here is a 4-year cycle low for Amazon, right? Then where's the next one? Should be 4 years, okay? So this occurs September 2001-ish. This next major low, 06, Okay, so it's not really 4 years there to there, is it? To the lowest low. Then from '06 to the bottom of '08, that's like 2 years. So we could maybe argue this is inverted, a 4-year cycle. Okay, and then from '08 to 12-ish, not really. Okay, 14 is the next low. Even if we take it from here, I don't know, right? Where's the cyclicality is my question. It doesn't seem to abide by a 4-year cycle low pattern like Bitcoin does. Bitcoin has the most consistent 4-year cycle of any asset I've ever seen ever, right? And there are people that are very quick to say, well, there's only 3 or 4 data points to go on. Yeah, true. But those data points are perfectly spaced apart, okay? So if I go to this chart right here, excuse me, and then put this on the monthly and the log and zoom all the way out. I mean, all of these are extremely consistent, right? We've got like a 2-month tolerance here during the first cycle. And then we went 35 months up, 12 months down, 35 months up, 12 months down. So far, 35 months up, approximately 12 months down. Even if it has a couple of months of wiggle room, right? Even if it runs into Q1 of next year and then corrects, like this is still 100-fold more consistent than Amazon's cycles, which just don't really exist here, right? Now, something else which I think is really important to point out here, and that is that this right here was like the dot-com bubble burst, right? Okay, then by the time we get to this correction, which again doesn't look like much, but it's significant, especially if I put it on the candlestick chart, right, and try and grab this as close as we possibly can, okay? So heading out of the GFC, you know, this thing fell 66% almost, just under, okay? And what happened thereafter? Okay, think about financial conditions wise, okay? This is the dot-com bubble burst, like I said, then we get the GFC, and then we just enter a bull market, right? There's no recessions here. There's no labor market deterioration. There's no deflation looming. Now, there was a very brief period of deflation in 2015, I think. In fact, if I go USA CPI, I wonder where I can find this chart from. Let's have a look. Don't know if this is the quickest way to find it. Maybe it would be easier to Google this. When were deflation USA? There was a tiny period that doesn't even count really, right? Was it? I'm killing the flow, aren't I? 2015 deflation USA 2015. So here you go. This is what I was pointing out, okay? This doesn't really even count because in 2015, we were on the brink of deflation. And if you look at the chart, I can't find the chart right now. Sorry, I should have had this prepared. But it does briefly slip below zero. Like I'm talking a hair's width underneath the line. It briefly flips negative and then it immediately flips back the other way, right? And other than that, all the way through here, okay, this is just rip-roaring bull market. We already had the dot-com bubble burst and then the GFC. And financial conditions in here were fine. Right? Then when Trump gets in, he keeps rates low, okay? There's no recession risk. There's no labor market deterioration. There's no nothing in here, right? It's just everything is fine and dandy all the way until C19 era, right? And then in C19, you know, Amazon shortly thereafter drops like 53% into the 22 bear market lows, right? Now, you tell me, is it really fair then to say that Bitcoin is going to do this same thing when today we have got serious risk of deflation by the middle of next year? We've got labor market deterioration, which is absolutely horrific, right? It's already recessionary, and they keep revising the data down, making it worse and worse and worse. Also, valuations after 2008 had been cleansed. We did not have a Buffett indicator at 217% back here. We didn't have stocks like Palantir trading at a 640-something PE multiple, right? I'm not making this up. PLTR PE ratio or whatever. Yeah. PE multiple, whatever. I saw this just the other day. PE ratio. I'm sure I saw this the other day. It was trading at 600 and something PE, right? Like absolutely ridiculous. It's forward PE, according to this right here, 200 and something, right? Like, what are we doing here, right? What are we actually doing here? Oh my goodness. What is the PE ratio of PLTR? As of right now, all right, we're approximately 598 as of late September 2025. Okay? Right? This is where we are. Record overvaluation in the stock market. Okay? Okay? So is it therefore fair to say that this is comparable to today at the hard right edge? I personally don't think so. Now, anything and everything is on the table all the time because there's a market, right? Anything and everything can happen. So that does not mean that Bitcoin couldn't do this. If we go back to Jordan Lindsay's chart, it does not mean that we couldn't do something like this, have a little 30% decline in Bitcoin. I can paint a 4-year cycle low arrow underneath it sometime late next year, okay? And then we can just say, boom, everything's fine, right? But I think the problem most people would have with that is they would be like, well, does it count as a 4-year cycle low in a bear market if it only draws down 30%? And that's a fair enough question, right? Like, it's not really much alpha if it's only going to draw down 30%. But, and here's another big but, right? If I reset my chart and go over here, okay, hang on a minute, let's get rid of log. We have already, this bull run, this was a 33% decline. We've already had 33% right here, top to bottom, right? 33%. What about this? Wasn't this 30%? 33% again, right? We've already thrown 2 of those. So what are we saying? That we're just never going to see a bigger correction than that? Do you honestly think that if I'm right about the recession, if we enter a bear market, if there's a short period of asset price deflation, right? Huge, strong bid on the Dixie. Do you really think that we're not going to draw down more than 33%? And if we do, then why shouldn't that occur into a weekly cycle low that we can chain together to label a 4-year cycle low, right? So I think that's my case. My case is that this cool idea is just that. It's a cool idea. It would be really nice to think that we could just sit back and go up only forever. But I don't think we can compare Bitcoin. And I also don't think... Let me start again. I don't think it's fair to compare Bitcoin to Amazon. I don't think this is fair. And I think what we're going to get is Bitcoin in white here, overextend, and then correct massively into a 4-year cycle low, right? It doesn't make sense to bet against that because the space between these cycle lows, measured low to low, okay, is like perfect. It's as good as you could possibly get. It's way more consistent than any other major cycle lows. If you look at the variance on the 4-year cycle low for the S&P, the Dow Jones, the 8-year cycle for gold, right, the 3-year cycle for the Dixie, it's way more variable than what we've seen here for Bitcoin. So why would I bet against that, right? It doesn't really make sense. And like I said, the macro as well, coming out of the GFC, right, we flushed valuations to a reasonable level. We were rebuilding. We kept interest rates record low for a record period of time because Trump didn't want to hike them like you're supposed to into a growing economy. Instead, he did the opposite, right? He kept them low even when the economy was more than able to withstand them. We didn't have labor market deterioration. We didn't have a deflation risk, right? I mean, you could argue there was a little period of deflation in there, like I said, and maybe we were lucky to have swerved it. But I mean, heading into next year, like we're almost certainly going to see a nasty period of deflation, right? The Fed's already overly restrictive. They're lying about the data. They're lying about the jobs. They're lying about the GDP, right? They're telling everyone we've got 3% GDP. But in actual fact, excluding exports, right, it's negative 2%. Like, I rest my case, I think, right? And again, I'm open to being proven wrong. I'm always open to being proven wrong. I have strong opinions weakly held, right? The moment that we don't throw a 4-year cycle low and the moment we just continue to grind up like this for Bitcoin, okay, then I will hold my hands up and say, I sounded like I knew what I was talking about, but I clearly didn't, right? I'm more than happy to do that, as I always am, okay? But right now, I don't think this is reasonable, to be honest. I just don't think this is reasonable. And it's an incredibly emotional market, right? Like the people in the cryptocurrency space are extremely tightly wound. They're extremely deprived of human contact and touching grass, right? Like in aggregate, this market is the worst on the planet, right? It's the worst of everyone, right? They're extremely emotional. They're all slaves to the tape. They're all betting on ridiculously high quantities of leverage with no risk management strategies. You know, like, to think that this market has not got a 50% bear market in it seems ludicrous to me. Now, again, I could be wrong, right? I'm human like anyone else, okay? And I can always be wrong. And like, you know, anyone else that is in this space that does this for a living, I will tell you if I'm wrong. I'll hold my hands up, right? It's not about being right or wrong. It's about making money, as always, yeah? But anyway, I hope you consider what I said. I'm going to jump into the charts, not the charts, the chat right now and see what people are saying. Give me a second to have some of this. Some drink first as well. I'll scroll back up and read some of these while I'm drinking. Miners tanked. Bro, this is not about miners right now. What do you mean they tanked? They don't tank. They went up 400%, most of them, and then pulled back 20 or 30. Like, what do you expect? Humanity's never seen an asset like Bitcoin before. Respectfully, that's what they said to me about MicroStrategy, right? Respectfully, they told me my TA wouldn't work on MicroStrategy because this time was different. We never seen an asset like MicroStrategy. But actually what happened was we sold the top, right? We bought back 50% lower. And then we had a thesis that if we're going to be wrong about it, we would be wrong in the best way possible, which was to make money. But we just ended up cutting that trade yesterday and moving the stop to break even in the other account because we were right the whole time, right? So it doesn't matter that we've never seen an asset like Bitcoin before. Once upon a time, we'd never seen an asset like gold before, right? Once upon a time, we'd never seen the S&P 500. Like, it doesn't mean anything, right? Did I see Bob's latest video? Yes. Focus, brother. Focus. You're confident we can complete another cycle, but of course, it's always more difficult. We'll find out, right? We will find out. Camel, you're so bored. Okay. Go and watch some OnlyFans models or something, right? This is this is a high function in space, bro. It's not for everyone. Go and play video games. You already sold iron. Okay, good. Do I expect a cold print? I'm not even looking at prints right now. Yeah, we're all good. We're all good. We're all good. Can we just pump? No, the market doesn't owe you anything. The market does not owe you anything. It doesn't owe you a pump. You're not entitled to a pump. That's not how this works. Yeah? Uncle Camel coming out. I say this with love. But can we just pump? Like, not necessarily. No, we might actually go all the way down 80% from here. We might have already seen the top and I just haven't worked it out yet. Right? The market doesn't owe anyone anything. All your friends think crypto is done. Yeah, okay. It could be the sentiment for a weekly cycle low. We don't tend to find weekly cycle lows with people cheering on upside. Do I reckon it's worth a punt at the next? I'm not sure. Yeah, we had 33% on the tariff dip. Absolutely correct. We did. So you think, well, Bitcoin's not going to do 50% in an actual bear market with a global bear market and recession, with stocks tanking 50%, with an actual period of asset price deflation, with labor market deterioration that we can't even conceive of right now, because even when they're lying, even when they're releasing the standard data, they're still lying about it. And it's all recessionary, right? And you think, well, Bitcoin's just going to be like, nah, no dip for me. Right? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And yeah, but 100, it has to get to 150k, but it's only about 30% away from that right now. You know, out of this weekly cycle low, I mean, from that 124k region, from the prior high, it's 20%, 21% maybe, to 150k. Like, we can easily do that and then correct back to 75k, which would just be right back to back test this little cluster back here, wouldn't it? Right? Why can't we do that? Of course we can. And guess what? If we do it roughly in line with the squiggles and the weekly cycles, then that will just be a standard 4-year cycle low, right? There's one more there. You know, like, it's not, to me, that doesn't seem impossible. I don't know why people are so hell-bent on saying that we couldn't do that again. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think? Do you think it's the smarter bet to bet on a 4-year cycle low showing up again, or do you think it's the smarter bet to bet on something like this, which is paradigm shifting? And I do think both are on the table. I absolutely think that's the case. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a cycle trader. I can't put my money on this being the base case. I don't think this is the smart bet. Is it possible to violate the weekly cycle low and still send from here? Yeah. I know Bob Lucas has set like a 100k level, but we can violate that into a weekly cycle low as long as we immediately turbo reverse. That's fine as well. Yeah, I don't know what people are looking at with the miners really. Like Riot. I mean, like in like 2 or 3 months, it went from 9 to 20. And now it's at 1702. You know? Like, these are big boy assets. these are big boy assets. You have to be able to, like, stay on trend. I mean, even from here to here, that was quite significant, right? That was like, come here. I actually bought a new mouse, and I swear this one's worse than the other one. Yeah, this was a 30% decline from this wick to this low. Okay, but did it matter? No. And people are like, oh, marathon. Like, since the 4-year cycle low, it's up a good, you know, it was 3. It's 16 now. This is one of my biggest positions. It's done nothing. Right? Like, like, what do you want? What more do you want from it? Like, sit back and enjoy the show, you know? Relax. It's all good. Bitcoin won't go over 160k. bro. I mean, you could be right. You absolutely could be right. It would be interesting if you are, for sure. I'll give you a shout out if you're right. I will. PLTR is in a hyperwave. You said public riot. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, this guy. I don't know. Why am I laughing? I don't know, man. I don't know. What else we got going on? Hang on a minute. I still don't know what I'm doing. Okay, we got some... Kind of look at Iran. Yeah, thanks for the $2. Will Mara kick ass in October? Yeah, I think it will. Just got to give it time, right? I mean, people said the same thing about Hut. People were like, hey, Camel, why did we buy Hut all the way back here, right? Hey, Camel, oh, we should have taken profit. We should have choked the stock up, blah, 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 blah. Just give it some space. Now look at it, right? People said the same thing about Wolf. You know, in here, it was like, oh, Camel was the best call of all time. And then it puked 70-ish% or something, 80% nearly. And I was like, yeah, we better buy this low heavy out of the tariff tantrum. And people are like, no, I'm not buying any more of that. What's wrong with you, right? And then all of a sudden, it gaps up, and now it's just pushing and pushing and pushing, right? Bitfarms was another one. Now, admittedly, timing was a bit off, okay? At first, people were like, wait, go Bitfarms. Then they were like, Camel, you're a fool. What are you doing to us? Why are you telling us to buy this, right? And then all of a sudden, in like 4 or 5 candles, it shoots up, okay? This is what they do. Just chill out. Just chill out. Give it some space. Let it build some structure out. What about Iran? Iran should be like 4th angle. Yeah. 4th angle back to support. I mean, push it until you're done pushing it, right? And remember, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Like, the only thing that's wrong, I was saying this, who was I saying this to? Like, either the Slice Crew or the members, right? If you sell here because you've got good profits, okay, that's not wrong. That's fine. If you wait for the moment the price pierces the trend line and then you sell, that's not wrong either. If you wait for a breakdown and a couple of candles, a wiggle room, okay, and then sell, that's not wrong either. The only thing that's wrong is if you sell here, okay, or here, let's say, all right, if you sell today there and you're like, oh, I'm happy with my gains, I made like 600 odd %, right? I'm happy with that. And then the following day, price opens back up here. And then you FOMO in and buy it back up here. Like, that's wrong, okay? That's wrong. Everything else is fine. If you buy low and you sell high and you make some profit, then you can't possibly do anything wrong about it. It's only when you get greedy and emotional and start hopping in and out, okay? Because if you hop back in higher up than when you took your profit, okay, then how do you know tomorrow it doesn't gap down on bad news? And then you just go, oh, that's because the fourth angle violated, and then blah, 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 chop this one, break that one, chop this one, boom, right? And that's how you wreck yourself. You can't possibly lose if you bought lower down in here somewhere and you sell anywhere up here. You can't possibly lose. The only way you can lose is to keep hopping in and out all the time and, you know, giving it all back and getting greedy and stuff. So yeah, don't worry about it, right? Everyone sells too early or too late. Like, we have to relinquish control. Kind of just get used to the fact that you're not going to be able to sell at the perfect time. But yeah, Iron looks good, right? Fourth angle for the person that was asking. What did you miss? I think just me jumping up and down and shouting and screaming, really. I don't think you missed much of anything important. Could have taken some off. Well, yeah, but again, are you an in and out trader? Was that the idea? No. The strategy is to buy here, let it push, and then sell higher up. The strategy is not to be like, oh, every time it pulls back, I want to sell the top and buy the bottom, sell the top and buy the bottom. That's just impossible. How can you do that? This is driven by randomness. You plan to sell half the Bitcoin stack. How's the top indicator coming on? It's not ready. We are still working on it, but it has to be good. I'm not going to release it if it's not good. Like right now, it fires too many false signals for my liking. It also finds the tops, but it just also tells you to sell a few too many times. So I want it to fire a top signal, and then we go, okay, let's sell, and then that's actually the top. Once we've got it there, then we'll release it. Can I give my honest opinion of ADA? Not really. I have no opinion. Do you think Bitcoin cycles are prone to changing in length or reliability? No. No, I do not. I don't see why they would. You know? Like, why would they? They've been extremely consistent. The only thing that Bitcoin has done, which is kind of like a bit weird to deal with, is it's thrown fake out failed cycles. That's the only thing it's done. But we think we've kind of figured out how to get around that now. And that's either to use wider stop losses, slightly wider stop losses, and size the positions down a little bit, or to just not adjust the count when you get a quick fake out and stick with the original count, which you ordinarily wouldn't do. Ordinarily, you would take the lowest low. But for Bitcoin, it might just be like, we don't take the lowest low. If it's just a quick wick that reverses immediately, we just ignore it and say that's Bitcoin doing weird stuff. But other than that, the consistency in the cycles is well within tolerance. It's more inside of the tolerance than some of the other asset classes. So I think it's good. I don't think we should bet on it changing. Not yet, anyway. Do I use leverage? Yes. Yeah, no, I use spread betting, so every single trade I ever make is leveraged. But there's a tutorial on leverage and there's a tutorial on risk in the playlist. It seems rare that you rarely look at price targets. Have you ever found a reasonable way to gauge? No, I don't. I just draw trend lines. I'm a trend follower. I have no idea where price is going to go ever. I never have any clue. I've seen people use fibs, but it's not real, in my opinion. I don't think they're real. Some people do. I'm just not convinced. Is the plan to hold till Christmas? Yeah, pretty much. Hold till Christmas. I'm definitely going to sell like a huge chunk of my portfolio to cash before Christmas because I don't want to have to worry about giving back gains and stuff. I want to actually take some time off. I'll probably still make some videos and look after the members and the Slice crew, but I really just want to... I don't want to have to be looking at the charts every day, and you know what I mean? Plus, we've got so many good gains down now. Like, almost every single one of these crypto stocks is up massively, and I hold most of them from the 4-year cycle low in the long-term account back here, right? So I want to pay myself. It's been like 3 years. Same for gold and silver, right? I mean, like, we've been trading this thing since the 8-year cycle local. You can go back on the channel and see me call this breakout in real time. I think I showed that in a recent video, right? And then we've been trading this thing the whole way up, playing the daily cycles, playing the miners sometimes. Got loads of miners and that kind of thing. They're all up like 100+% now in the longer term accounts as well. I want to sell those, right? It's time to pay myself. So yeah, I'm just trying to get paid, right? I'm trying to get paid. And once I got paid, then I can go and enjoy Christmas. And we'll come back to January to what I believe will be financial Armageddon. And I don't know why. one of you pointed out I got a bit of PTSD, but I mean, this is January back here, right? Where's January? Here, somewhere in here, okay? And we trade sideways for a bit, and then boom. And then you go back to, where's the other January? This January was kind of okay? But this January was the top of the market, and then bear market. And of course, you remember this, right? Here's January, little sell-off, one higher high into February, and then C19, right? Like, Januaries are just, they're not lit, right? Look at this right here, December, January 2018, and then boom, like we fall. So, I mean, that's only 12%. It's not that bad. But this time, I think, I don't know. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there for it. Just give me my cash, right? I'd rather miss a bit upside and lock in the gains. And I can always re-enter in January if it's not the case too. That's the other thing. I don't know where the base is for MetaPlanet. Purple camel emoji. Thomas G. That means you've been a Camel Crew member for 12 months. So thank you very much. Hopium delivery service. What does my indicator say about ETH? It's trying to find a low, isn't it? Pretty sure. Yeah, look. Posted this on Twitter a few days ago and said, if you're surprised by the dip, don't be. You should have bought the indicator. Right? Get off. In here. Media. Where is it? There it is. I was like, yeah, if you didn't expect this dip, you should have bought the indicator, right? Kind of like just trolling everyone. But it's true. Here it is. Right in the middle of the timing window, looking for a swing and a reversal, and then it will go. Okay? So that's what the indicator says. Gold, no changes, right? Long and strong. Take a look at CMC. I don't know what that is. Could you go over? Nope, I never recommend any brokers or exchanges in case FTX occurs. Can you more often message the members in the member chat when you enter? Huh? I was watching a couple of months but didn't pull the trigger. I'm not sure. I mean, turn notifications on and then you should get a real-time notification for when things happen. Camel can gold top when the weekly... can gold top when Bitcoin bottoms. Yeah, I think it probably could. That's what we've seen a few times, right? Gold into a top and then it declines whilst Bitcoin finds a bottom. And if Bob's count is correct, that kind of says that will be early October, right? Early October would be pretty close. Basically, it would be any day now, right? Like a week more of upside, and then time to go. I think silver's probably got a bit more in it. It's got more ground to cover, I think. Maybe it speaks to hitting 50, chopping a bit, and then going. But I mean, you look at these mining stocks, they've just been going vertical, right? Like, they just keep going vertical. And like Newmont as well was like thinking about having a fifth angle. So this is not sustainable, right? It's sustainable for only a couple more weeks at the most, I would think. And then it's probably time to reverse. Can we talk about XRP? Since you donated 12 euros, we can. Thank you for the 12 euros, by the way. What's my opinion on target for XRP Bitcoin and XRP dominant? What? I didn't know those things existed. XRP dominance. What? What's that for? I mean, yellow squiggle cooking with peanut oil, so that's something, but it's not due a cycle low for a little while longer. Is 2.7 the bottom? Not necessarily. This whole thing looks pretty suspicious to me. It doesn't really look like a structure conducive to higher prices, despite my yellow squiggle being bullish. I don't think I've ever looked at this. What is this for? XRP dominance. Huh? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? It's probably like this is probably a silly thing to say. Like I'm just unqualified to talk about these altcoins, right? Like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Why does anyone care what this is? I can't really work it out. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this chart, to be honest. I suppose if this is going to break out, that would speak to XRP taking more market share. But then you can kind of figure the same from the price moving higher. Because as price moves higher, market cap goes up. I don't know. I don't know. And what about XRP Bitcoin? Kind of the same looking chart, right? Accumulation in a range, thinking about maybe making a range break, but hasn't made one yet. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the only chart I really care about is this one, the dollar pricing, and hopefully it can do my yellow squiggle. So yeah, I hope that helps. You're looking low on tabs. I am low on tabs, bro. Yeah. How long have we been going for? I gotta go and get some breakfast. 40 minutes. Okay, right. We'll hang around for like 5 more minutes. Can you explain the better ETH, that better ETH and the indicator? What do you mean? What do you mean? Why did I choose Hargreaves for the JISA? That's a funny one, actually. I had so many people message me like, oh, you shouldn't have gone with them. You should have chosen another one. You should have chosen this broker or that broker or blah, 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 blah. Even though in the video, I was like, look, don't copy the broker. I chose it for my own personal reasons based on the instruments I want to trade. And everyone was like, Camel, you chose the wrong one. I don't know. I think I know what I'm doing, right? Probably been doing this longer than most people. So yeah, I chose it for personal reasons. I chose it because that's the one I wanted to go with. That's the one that offered the instruments I wanted to trade. And I have trust issues with some other places, right? That's not to say I trust any of these brokers, really. But yeah, they, you know, to each their own, right? Here in Norway, we had some drone at our airport. Ooh. What does Camel say about that? He says nothing, man. He says nothing. He doesn't care about drones. You hope Chainlink can 4x. You want to quit your job? What? Can you quit your job if it does a 4x? Because that seems reasonable. That doesn't seem like super impossible. I don't know how likely it is, but test 100k and off we go. Yeah, that will work for me, Jay. That will work for me. Into the early October timeframe. What are my thoughts on Raoul Paul taking ISM? I don't care. I don't care. They have no accountability. If they're wrong, right? They don't care. they just say stuff, and it doesn't matter. They have no accountability, you know. So I don't care. Let them do them, and I'm gonna do me. You see the window's been activated. It hasn't actually. As it goes, it has not. You just can't see it. But it is there. How long before they link digital ID to CBDC? Nice try with the rage bait, Tim. I might take it. I think they're moving in that direction, right? I was talking about this because our old PM, his father-in-law owns Infosys, which is the company that built the digital IDs and all of this kind of thing. And I was saying they're closer than they think. And now they're talking about how we need this in our country so that we can tell who's come over on a boat and who hasn't, right? But of course it's never about that. Never about this at all. It's always about, it starts with a Digi ID. And then, of course, they add the CBDC component. And then they add your social credit score. And then you will eat the bugs and own nothing and be happy, right? And they probably start with the whole benefit thing as well. So like if you're a pensioner or you're claiming any kind of benefit or any kind of free childcare, I would imagine they'll be like, well, you have to get the app, right? Just get the government app and then we'll send you your childcare benefit or tokens, or I don't know how it works. Mine's too young for any of this. But yeah, it will start like that. Right, and you've got a bunch of like vulnerable single parents or struggling parents that are like, oh, I can't afford to put my kid in nursery, but if I download this government app, then I get free childcare, right? And then like that's a good chunk of the population captured. They do the same with pensioners. They're like, in this country, you get a state pension, right, which is like 160 something quid a week or something, and they'll do that. They'll be like, oh yeah, if you want to keep getting your state pension, then we will ask you to just download the app on your phone, right? It's nice and easy, and then you don't even have to go and collect it from anywhere. We'll just ping it right to you on the app, right? And then that's all the pensioners captured. And then anyone that's claiming disability, living allowance, or any of these kind of like weird things, right? Like, get the app and then we'll give you your stuff. And then pretty quickly, you've got like half of the country, right? Anyone that's a parent, because how many parents don't actually need to claim benefits for childcare? This is something I learned fairly recently, is that the government actually puts nearly all of our children into care, like financially. Almost nobody in this country says, nah, F you, Mr. Government, I'm gonna pay for my own kids. Like, no one says that, right? And I also found out recently that there's no limit to how much you earn. Like, even if you earn 100 million a year, you still can claim some free childcare. And that to me was spurious. It's like, why do they want to give like a multi-millionaire free childcare, right? But it's probably because they want me to download this flipping app, right? Like, that's how it works. So yeah, but I mean, of course, we need this so that we know who came over on a boat, right? That's what it's really about. Yeah, I mean, it's not unique to diggers saying here, like, we've got digital ID in Australia already. Your voice is on record to access government agencies. We have the exact same template here. Like, if you phone up a government agency, you can opt to set up a bunch of words that you use your voice for, and it will recognize that. Everyone is walking around with an iPhone in their pocket that scans your face, right? Like, I don't have one. I keep one of the older ones, but with a button on it. But I mean, to be fair, it's got my thumbprint on it, right? But yeah, my brothers and that, like, they don't even have the button on their phone. Like, they pick it up and they hold their face in front of it and it scans their face and all that kind of thing. And like, whenever they want to send anything anywhere on their phone or unlock something, they use their face. Like, slowly but surely, this is being rolled out absolutely everywhere in many different forms. And it's all about like slowly boiling the frogs, right? It's about like making these incremental, subtle changes so that no one really notices until you've essentially got like half of the population, like I said, having to claim child benefits or food stamps or whatever it is, right? Pretty soon it'll be like doctor's stuff as well. Like, oh, you take tablets or you'll die. Like, oh, you've got a medical condition you need treatment for. Like, download the app, download a digital ID so we can make sure we don't give you the wrong tablets, right? They're just going to keep finding ways to, force people to have this app until eventually, like, everyone is absolutely pwned, right? Has my kid started watching K-pop Demon Hunters yet? Hell no. Hell no. But I am aware of that show. And I'm also aware that, like, it's very popular. So, yeah, but we don't do that here, bro. We don't do that here. You can short MSTR if you want. I'm not going to. It's a bit early cycle for me. I think I'll find better short opportunities. Thanks for the Jaisa answer. Yeah, no worries. Sorry, it's a bit flippant and dismissive. It wasn't intended at you, to be fair, Mike. Anyone will do, right? As long as it offers an instrument that you want, and as long as it offers an equivalent somewhere, right? Then it doesn't really matter, I don't think. It's whatever you're comfortable with. Create the problem, provide the solution. That's it. Exactly. In the name of freedom, right? Or in the name of safety. It's always safety, isn't it? It's always, they're going to give you safety in exchange for some freedoms. We'll protect you in exchange for you giving up some freedoms. And then make Bitcoin institution only. Yeah, you can't really do that, though. You can't really do that because you can always run a node and use a peer-to-peer exchange, but... It's decreased to 15 hours, is it? After 100k, you're no longer good. Okay. But is the 15 hours free, Damien? I'm pretty sure that there is no payment cutoff for some of it. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I don't really know. I'm the kind of person that would stubborn, even if I needed the money, I wouldn't take it. Right? Like, I'm that kind of, that's how stubborn I am. I'm stupid. I'll bite my own nose off rather than ask for the government to help me, but... Book of Revelation in the making. Yeah, surprising how weirdly predictive that thing has turned out to be. How do you opt out of the system and still live? You need to be so rich that these rules do not apply to you. Because these rules, like, these don't apply to our politicians, right? They don't apply to billionaires. They don't apply to a lot of people out there. So why is that? Yeah, you say unless... Yeah, I don't know about childcare, really. I know a lot... There has to be a lot of people in this country that really need them. But I was really shocked. I was really shocked to find out that that's just how it works. Like, almost every person in this country with a child is claiming some kind of benefit or relief or free childcare or something. And don't get me started on schools either, because after all of that other stuff, then you realize, like, your school's not even safe for your children anymore, right? Like, you have to put your kids in private school, otherwise they're going to be exposed to sexual deviance, right? And Munchausen's. Let's call it that. Pushing you to leave the UK more and more. Yeah, I think I want to buy a boat, you know. I think I want to buy a nice big boat and just go and float around in the sea. No laws. Maritime laws. Congratulations on being a dad. Thank you very much. I'm enjoying it now. The first couple of weeks, I was not. But I am really enjoying it now. It's nice. I know you mentioned TLT as something to be traded during the bear market. What else can we trade? There's lots of things, but don't worry about that now. Don't worry about that now. What about the aliens? We'll worry about the aliens. That's bear market conversation. I think that's beyond the remit of today. But don't worry, they're coming. Am I a fan of Ike? I'm not really a fan of anyone. I'm not really a fan of anyone. But I can acknowledge that that man came out and put some stuff out there for the world, and they kind of mocked and jeered at him, and they took a lot of what he said out of context, and then many, many years later, people suddenly went, oh yeah, that crazy guy's not so crazy anymore. So he has my respect for that reason. He's been right a lot more than he's been wrong, and the media like to take a lot of what he said out of context, which is always a red flag. Someone keeps ringing my mobile, which is weird. Oh, it's my business partner. He should... Ben, why aren't you watching the live? I have to ring him back, actually. Yeah. Will the aliens have digital ID? I doubt it. I doubt it. So, yeah, I don't know, man. This live stream took a bit of a nosedive, really, didn't it? Might be time to go pub. Can you recommend a book to learn about cycle trading? No, not really, but I did write a PDF you can download. It's probably in the description of this video. 15 hours is free for anyone. It's called Universal Entitlement, no matter your income. Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of. Just you get double that, so 30 hours if you earn less than 100k. Yeah, but that seems mad to me. Even that seems crazy. It's like, why do you get 15 hours free, right? Why? Why do they willingly want to take my child and look after him 15 hours a week for free, right? Remember, like, if it's free, you are the product, right? Is it because they want to train him to be an employee? Is it because they want to poison his mind to make him like a useless eater? I don't know. Like, am I super paranoid? I don't know, but it just seems weird. Like, why do you want to take my kid and give him free stuff? Like, that seems weird. And then, like, what if I earn 90k a year, which by most people's standards in the UK is pretty comfortable? And then even then, you're going to give me 30 hours free childcare? Like, what? Like, 90k a year, like, I should be able to pay for my own childcare, right? Like, what's the deal here? Like, am I too paranoid? This seems weird. Like, why do you want to give me free stuff? Once you have your digital ID, don't worry about the data theft. The government number one priority for cybersecurity. Well, yeah, there's that too, right? There's absolutely that too. But I think this also potentially means that you'll be able to hire like a dark web or a deep web hacker and have your government ID put right, so to speak. I think that's got to be possible, right? I don't know. Biometrics aren't protected by law. No, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised. And apparently, you know those like ancestry ones? Is it ancestry or whatever? Where you you look up your family history, your family tree. You know some of those, they do a DNA swab, right? So you swab like your cheek and then send it off and it'll tell you your lineage and your bloodline and that kind of thing. Like apparently they sell that data to like third-party companies. So like anyone that's done one of those family tree things is like also in some weird government database or whatever, and all your DNA's there and all of this kind of thing. It's like kind of weird. Bitcoin is the ultimate exit liquidity. We'll see, right? We'll see. Where to stash your gains? I think anywhere will be fine. I'm not calling for like widespread bank failure and stuff until later, next cycle. Do I think Bob Lucas's count is more likely to be correct now? Well, as I said earlier, until such time, it looks like it might be, but until such time as we get a new lower low, then it's not right. Should the UK rejoin the EU? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. We would have been a lot worse off if we did, I think. Will you ever make some type of backstory? I have told it a bunch of different times. This is really quite boring. They're eating the swans. Mate, I don't care. If you want to eat the swan, eat the swan. I got bigger problems, bro. Not paranoid enough. Yeah, I think you might be right. Am I getting sleep there? I am, bro. I am getting lots of sleep. Private schools are worse. Are they? Yeah. I don't know. Round where I happen to live, I think the private schools are better. But I am so annoyed that I'm having to actually consider paying that much money just because I view the other schools as unsafe for children to be in. Right? Like, I don't know. Don't get me started on this. I gotta go and get some lunch. But I tell you what, this is quite a nice precursor, isn't it? Because in just a few months, if I'm right about everything else, we'll sell a bunch of stuff and we'll be in a bear market, and then we're gonna have some pretty fun live streams. I think some pretty funny conversations. I know some people really hate this kind of talk, but I also know a bunch of you are into it. So 23andMe that sold everyone's DNA, was it? Okay, yeah. Aliens get the full 30 hours childcare. Okay, well, I'm going to love you guys and leave you, I think. They're looking for ancient bloodlines. Yeah, you're right. I just recently learned about this. But I'm not going to say the word. Thank you, Mark. Thank you to everyone for being here. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. We'll be doing a deep dive video tomorrow with a twist. I think I'm going to run through the article I wrote because I spent so much time writing this article on X, and I need to make a video out of it so I can make it worth my time. Otherwise, I just put like 12 hours into this article for for a few people on X to read it. So I think I might generate a video out of it, and then at least then it felt like it might have been worth my time to write. Yeah, so we'll do a bit of deep dive tomorrow as always. There'll be a members video as always. And other than that, have a fantastic weekend. I hope you're all doing well. Be safe out there. And other than that, see you tomorrow. All the best. Cheers. Bye.